All right, we are live. Welcome in, PMC fam. We are live. And tonight, a little bit of the same business. I know our schedule's been a bit sporadic lately, but we'll be looking to stabilize here quite shortly. And we have a ton of content coming up for you guys. But, over the summer, just slowing down a little bit before we ramp into the craziness that is the high school football and middle school football seasons. So we're obviously very excited to be covering all of that. We have a lot of intriguing players to keep a lookout for. Both in this incoming high school class as well as, some middle school talents keep an eye out for heading into this season. So, obviously we're super, super excited. And, without further ado, we're going to talk about two guys that are heading into high school here in Jadyn Irving and Jaden Davis. Jadyn and Jayden. Jadyn Irving being a member of the, Cherry Creek Bruins 8th grade team, and Jaden Davis being a member of the Mile High Eagles. So very excited to cover all these topics. Very excited to kind of get some breakdowns in and potentially break down what I think is going to be our first 8th grade cornerback that we've broken down. Feels like in a while, honestly. Maybe even since Mike Fleming. Well, he wasn't in 8th grade, but you know what I mean, middle school-wise. So, we're going to start out with Jadyn Irving here. We have his 2021 8th grade fall season. We'll look through some of his other stuff. Make sure to go ahead and give him a follow on Instagram, 1738_Jaden. He's also on Twitter. So we will dive into that when we get to that. And, it looks like he's heading to Cherry Creek High School. So let's go ahead and talk about his film, wide receiver / defensive back film. I'm going to kind of assess a little bit of both and see where that is sitting at necessarily, and just give him a grade from there. Now, I will remind everyone that we do grade, middle school talent a little bit differently than high school talent. If somebody scores an 80, that doesn't necessarily mean that they're a 3-star talent right now. And I think that that's something important to consider. As for cornerbacks, we judge off of 10 categories like we do everything else. But, those 10 categories being hip mobility, speed, versatility. So, can they play in the slot? Can they roll back and play a bunch of different zones? Can they roll back and play safety as well? These are things that, can they get in the box and make plays? These are all things to consider with versatility. Will they cover a guy across the field, which also double dips into another category of man-to-man and zone coverage. These are both also categories. Continuing on, strength / tackling is a category by itself. Then you have footwork, then anticipation / recognition. So this is kind of like the football IQ category, where are they seeing the play before it's happening to them. Ball skills, obviously pass deflections, interceptions, stuff like that, and leverage. How consistently do they keep leverage on, whoever they are defending? And do they ever lose leverage? Do they understand leverage? Where are their hands at? When they're inside shade, do they still allow the receiver to get a pretty easy inside release or something like that? These are all things that we consider. And this is graded on a scale of 1 to 10, 1 through 3 being needs improvement, should be a priority for this player. At best, the skill is okay. 4 through 6, average. The skill on a bad day is below average, but above average at the very best. Like 6 to 8, basically. The skill's about average to good. It's something that's, they're capable of. It's in their bag, and it's one of the reasons that they are good. And they can do pretty well. 8 to 9 being good to great, and 9 to 10 being very good to elite. So that's kind of our scale there. If he does have more wide receiver film, and I can't quite make a breakdown out of the cornerback film, or I can't make a full breakdown out of wide receiver, there could be a little blend of both. But as for the receiver side, we also grade out of 10 categories. 1 being route running, 2 being hand / ball skills. So, catching, adjusting to the ball, separation / release, speed, elusiveness / agility, route tree, verticality / jump ball, body control, field awareness / vision, and blocking. So these are all things that we're going to look at for Jadyn Irving today. Let's see, I wonder if this is the exact same link, probably. You followed an Instagram link. Yes. Take me there. Looks like it's the exact same. But this time with ads. So, just going to back up out of this, make sure that we kind of have everything ready to go. But according to his huddle, 5'10", 175 pounds. So that is a really good frame, honestly, entering into high school, if that holds up. Let's just double check the old blue bird on that and cross-reference some of our resources here. 5'10", 175. That's a great size and frame as a freshman entering high school. So, and if you're not, go ahead and follow him on Twitter as well. 4.0 GPA. You love to see it. I love all these a lot of these requests of these middle school athletes. They are spectacular students. They care about their, grades. And, I think that they have a good support system here. Now, obviously, 4.0 GPA, high school students can attest to this. It's harder once you get to high school, but if you just stay committed, you should be okay to overcome that. So, let's go ahead and check the film out here and give it some grades here. If you guys have anything to comment on or any context that I may be missing from any of these games, feel free to let me know. But do know that if there is any critiques or praises, it is in the best interest of the player to help them obviously secure a spot on the next level, become the best player that they can be. And, for these middle schoolers entering high school, things that they can iron out to win that high school spot and eventually, potentially, be a college athlete as well. Shout out to Jamal_Davis77 for tuning in and, being ready for the Jaden Davis breakdown. But first, we got Jadyn Irving. So, appreciate your patience, and we'll get to that. But first, Jadyn Irving. So, he's back here, kind of flat-footed. We'll see if this is a continued habit, as he's just reacting somewhat slow. But then gets his hands up, gets off this guy, makes a good tackle right here. I believe that's in the championship game. Here we see a press look. It's supposed to be for a screen. Blows it up along with his linebacker, I want to say that was. Linebacker/edge kind of guy. All right, here he is, kind of in his zone look, it looks like. Comes down. Very solid tackler. It's something that you should expect from a 5'10", 175-pound player at the middle school level. But, all right, here he is on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like this is where we'll get a little bit more time to evaluate. Here on just a screen. Sayonara. Go ahead and let the play finish out, though. All right, we got another screen. That one gets into his body a little bit, but no worries. Sheds a tackle. That's always good to see. Great adjustment to the ball. Great adjustment to the ball. This is spectacular football IQ here on Jaden's part. So, I mean, release could be maybe a little bit faster, but sells this inside. He could sell it a little bit harder, but then breaks outside. He's covered pretty well, but Brady understands the matchup that he has. I mean, 5'10" in middle school, you love that. But then flips his hips completely around. I mean, look at this. Spins completely around, comes back to the ball. Excellent footwork to make that catch. Boom, boom, boom. The steps are pretty minimized, all things considered, for making an adjustment to the ball. Doing a good enough job to make sure that that's not a push-off. You'll love to see that. Just excellent positioning and adjustment to the ball. Fantastic play, Jaden. All right, here we are, back out at wide out. I understand that with speed and with height, you're beating these defenders, but you've got to sell this inside a little bit better. I mean, you don't even get his hips turned when you are you try and sell this inside because your first step is coming in towards the middle of the field, and then you just break off. You need to maybe throw in a little head shake here, or you got to look that direction. Shout out to Jamal for tuning in for Jadyn Irving as well. But Jadyn, you've got to give it a little bit more on this end, because this defensive back isn't fooled. I don't know if he's been watching film, but on the pass vertical route, you kind of do the same thing where you just lightly drift in and then try and break it outside. And you're going to need just a little bit more convincing than that on the high school level to really sell these double moves. But way to keep running and way to corral that ball in. Incredible catch. What a play. This is once again just Brady knowing his matchups here. I mean, this release, it's all right. It's not the fastest release, I will admit. But the ability to go up and get that ball and just take it. Excellent adjustment to the ball in the air, too. Because here, he's initially going behind this defender, right? But then you see him jump back in front of him to A, prevent an interception, and B, make an incredible catch. And a dive for the pylon. That release looked a little better. Airing it out. Just boxes him out. Makes a big play. And they're playing prevent defense. He's just... I mean, look at where he high points this ball. That is so insanely athletic. And, I mean, and this is why we talk middle school ball a little bit differently, right? Jaden here is 5'10". That's as tall as I am, a little bit taller, as an 8th grader. So, you think of the average 8th grader here, he has a significant amount of height advantage, right? Which is one aspect to kind of look at when looking at this jump ball category. However, the other is just what I see. Both the feet off the ground, reaching fully extended basically, even probably has a little bit more room to go, has his eyes on the football, it's in his hands, he doesn't have to breadbasket it or anything like that. So fantastic for his verticality / jump ball, and also really good for his hand / ball skills. Great catch. All right, this was the first matchup against this Parker Hawks team, I want to say. And he's so much faster. I mean, luckily this defender falls for the play action pretty hard, which gets this guy to bite. But I mean, you should be streaking down the sideline here. Maybe a slant. He's just bigger, just boxes out here. Not the cleanest break here. I mean, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a lot of steps. It starts there, and 1, 2, 3, 4. I mean, it's smooth, but it's slow. It's very meticulous, I should say, which is good for development, but that's got to be faster. Yep, that's an easy catch. All right, here we have him at some more cornerback, it looks like. Or safety, even. So this would kind of go into the versatility a little bit. It's a cover 2 look. That is his responsibility. Plays that ball really well. Back to wide receiver. Here we're probably going to get a block. Okay. Not completely square to the guy, but did the most that he could. Oh, that's a pick. Sweet. Kind of bobbled it a little bit from the surprise, but does he take it to the house? I'm not sure. Looks like he might have got shoved out of bounds. Oh, let's watch that again. I mean, obviously, bigger. He should be doing this every single play, but it's still good to see. I mean, his hands are in the right place. I mean, he does lunge a little bit on this kind of shove, right? And, gets maybe a little off balance. You probably want him a little bit more square, but that's just knowing the matchup. I'll attribute it to that more than anything else. You're at wide out again. He's got like a quick in route. This ball kind of hits his hands weird, but he secures it and protects the football. Way to protect the football and way to make this catch that was, not necessarily in stride. Saw that on Brady's film. Saw probably a handful of these on Brady's film. Way to be there for your QB. Carry a couple of guys. This one kind of gets into his gut a little bit. Or at least it looks like it. That might have been the game winner, I'm pretty sure. I mean, obviously you like this matchup. It's like everyone knows what's coming, but he's still able to make this play and get that toe in bounds. Gets the 1 foot in. Excellent play. All right, so all of that being said, he does have some cornerback film. However, I'm going to judge him primarily as a wide receiver. That is the majority of the film that we have, and that will be the majority of the film that we go through. Before I jump in and, get my grades going, I am going to do a little bit of promoting here. Obviously, we announced this stream on our socials as well as on our Twitter today. And speaking of other things that we posted on our Twitter, obviously you have our pinned tweet of the culture problem. But, here's this live stream that's something to be excited about. But also the Under Armour Championship Series 7v7 brought to you by Evolution Player Optimization, aka EPO. And we announced some of the participants, or actually, I believe this is a lot of the teams that we have here. We're still looking for more teams, so if you want to test against some of the best throwing teams in the state, go ahead and check this out. It is on all of those tweets. There is a link, and then in our link tree, there is a link to that tournament. So go ahead and check that out. Brought to you by Under Armour and EPO. But now that small plug is over, I'm going to play this Jadyn Irving film and go ahead and grade him as a wide receiver here. Just going to kind of watch through this film a little bit and spiffing out some of these grades and then replay it and talk about my reasonings and pull the grades up on the film. First off, thank you for tuning in. If you are here with Playmakers Corner on Twitch, if you're listening to this on a podcast, please make sure to go find us on Twitch and follow us. And if you can, gift subs, gift bits, subscribe. We appreciate all of the support. All right. And with that game sealing play, I think that we're ready to go over some of his numbers. Once again, this is Jadyn Irving. He played for that Cherry Creek 8th grade team, and it looks like he's heading to Cherry Creek High School, as noted right here, Cherry Creek 26. And follow him on Twitter, JIrving38 or 1738 _ Jaden. So go ahead and give him a follow. And go ahead and like his posts, just like we did. But anyways, let's go ahead and drag this to the side. Let's not put anything over there yet. Come on. Yeah. All right, we're just going to blank that out for a second. But, so here are our categories here. Route running, hand/ball skill, separation, release, speed, elusiveness, agility, route tree, verticality, jump ball, body control, field awareness / vision, and blocking. And so, as a wide receiver coach, this is obviously going to be graded a little bit harder. But I think it's for the best that, I am watching some wide receiver film, A, because I love doing it, and B, I think that I can help out the most in this specific realm and just give you guys some things to work on. So, Jadyn Irving here as a wide receiver, I think that he scored pretty well for a 8th grader. I will say that something was taken into account for some of these stats is how much bigger he is than a lot of these other kids, how much stronger he is than a handful of these other kids, and this is something to consider when looking at these grades, and it's more that I want to see it replicated on the high school level before giving it a higher grade. But let's go ahead and just run down the list here. Route running and I think route tree are two things that we can talk about very similarly. The route tree, it's not very extensive. I mean, goes, screens, posts, in, outs. Pretty simple, pretty fundamental route tree that he runs. Nothing too crazy. You don't see a lot of double moves. You don't see out and ups. You don't see chair routes. You don't see whip routes, really. You see a comeback or two route on this, but it's not super duper well ran. Some of his routes are pretty rounded, and he also doesn't sell inside as much as I would like him to, hence the 5.3 here. However, I do have his route running at a 5.3 and not something lower because he's very situationally aware. His comeback route, he's coming back towards the pylon. His out route to win the game, he knows where he needs to get on the field and where to get that break, obviously. And on top of that, he fundamentally understands heading inside to get the outside. So a lot of these things he has a grasp on, which is fantastic. And that's the hardest part, I think. And then gradually, I think that'll be more refined as, he gets more practice. I mean, this comeback route's a really good example because, it is in very simple analysis, it is a successful comeback route, right? He gets to the top of his route, he breaks, comes back to the corner, makes a catch for the touchdown. But against more experienced DBs, I don't think this break is way too slow, and this cornerback kind of pushes him into the break. I don't think that you'll see a lot of that, especially on the practice squad at Creek. If you're going against some of these seniors or juniors, I think that they're a little bit fundamentally sound. more sound and smarter than that. And I feel like this is a ball that can get broken on and batted away or deflected on the next level, on the high school level. So it's a good thing that he's running the routes that the way he's doing. He shows great situational awareness, I would say. And that's why I'm going to bump this up a pretty decent amount. And so that's kind of what I'm looking at in route running. Hand sesh ball skills. I think that, obviously he can go up there, he can climb the ladder and make a pretty big catch. He does it a handful of times, but then you also see the screen plays where it does get inside his stomach. And so, that's a little bit of a concern, or, maybe a slight bobble here and there. So, he has solid hands and good ball skills, but I do think that there is still room for improvement and consistency more than anything. Being able to always make that catch with your hands, being able to catch and get upfield a little bit faster and, adjust to the ball pretty well. But I mean, his one very deep pass pretty early in here where he adjusts to the ball is the reason why this is at a 6.7. It's the reason that it starts to sniff around that 7 range is because he does make such an incredible adjustment on the ball. I forget if it's this one. Nope, this is another screen. It's this one right here. This is what I'm talking about when I could easily see this approaching an 8 if this is done on a consistent basis, because this is just an incredible adjustment to the ball. Because I don't think that's how that's drawn up, but it is the play that he makes, and a very good one at that. Speed, I think that he could be a little bit faster. I don't know if it's because he's given so much cushion maybe, but I think defensive backs don't let him get behind them super easily. And I just don't think it's necessarily world-ending speed right now. I think that he's 5'10", and that his strides hold up considerably well on this level. So he does have good burst and whatnot, but I think that his speed, he can continue to get faster. But I will say that we'll still keep him right there. Elusiveness / agility. This was a very interesting category to grade because you don't see him making a ton of jukes. I mean, you see it a little bit on this very first screen that he gets, or at least the ability to get upfield, right? And I do have it graded somewhat high because he can shed tackles. I think that he can drag a couple of players a little bit, and, part of that could be his size, but I do think that he's very naturally strong and that, he has a little bit of mass to him and he's able to actually throw his weight and stuff like that. So that's why his elusiveness / agility, while not showing incredible juke moves necessarily, it still lands at a 6.5 because he is able to still shed tackles. He's able to pick up extra yards for a couple of different reasons. Verticality / jump ball. I feel like that this is pretty obviously his strongest trait. I'm even going to rate it at a 6.9 because, he just adjusts to the ball very well. He knows how to high point the ball. He does it routinely, even when it's not asked. And that's when you want to see him excel at these things because he is taller than most players that he goes against. However, he's still getting it at the highest point that he possibly can. And that checks out really well for potentially getting onto the field sooner, being able to make those plays yourself without, being complacent that you're already taller than that guy. And going against some pretty athletic competition as well this year definitely helps with that. And, give him a pretty decent boost in the verticality / jump ball segment. Body control. I have it rated at a 5.2. I think that, his chest and shoulders can get a little ahead of him sometimes. I think that that's fairly easy to see. But all in all, he does a good job of running the routes as asked. As he learns to play lower at a better leverage, this body control will go up. I do highly, highly, highly recommend that he does work on playing at a lower pad level. Then the last few categories here, blocking. We just saw a pancake, right? Like right here. No. Maybe it was further back. Yep. Sit down. Obviously, you want to see that because he is taller and bigger than a lot of these kids. But, blocking's blocking, and that's what's going to land you at a solid 6. And then if you continue to do that throughout high school and make a whole, if you're able to make a clip of 2 minutes of that, basically, of blocking and getting pancakes, that's how your blocking score gets up in the 9s. Shout out to Josh Dunn. And then lastly, field awareness / vision. I rate this at a 6.6 because, he does a solid job at finding the pockets in the defense. This play right here is a really good example. It's a broken play. Brady has 3 guys on him, and he just knows to sit. He just knows to sit, catch the ball, get upfield. The same can kind of be said for, knowing where the first down marker is on these out routes, knowing where the red zone is, knowing where the goal line is, etc. But also, on this very first play that he does have on the offensive side of the ball, he does rip it right up the middle, and I think that shows really good vision. Yep, right here. He sees his blocks. He understands where he's supposed to go. He makes adjustments as needed. You can see a little bit of the same here. This time he doesn't go all the way in. He stays inside of those blockers. Excellent field vision and overall awareness. I almost forgot to touch on this, separation / release. I think that his release is a little slow. I think it could be more explosive. And then I also think that he can create more separation on his defenders with a little better route running. Like I said, he doesn't really sell that inside release. So some defenders are able to stick on him way longer. And this is a really contested catch. That's more on where the ball placement is. But, on his go routes, I think that he can create more separation through more creative route running. And so all of that being said, that lands Jadyn Irving here at a 58.4. I think that this is a just fine grade for where he's at, seeing as how a lot of these categories could probably take an entire swing bump if he does the exact same, or he does it to the same scale on the 8th grade level that he does on the high school level, and that easily swings him up to like a 68, right? If every single category can jump a single point with more consistency, that's really good. The route tree getting expanded at Creek, this is something I'm not really worried about if he continues to play receiver. This route tree will get expanded. They have Dave Logan, a former NFL wide receiver there, and they've had receivers who produced regularly, whether that was Chase Penry, our number 1 rated senior receiver, or, CC, who's going to be coming up in this class of 23, who's going to have a phenomenal season and has insane route running. And, Kai O'Day Jr. also picked up some solid route running skills, tips, and tricks, as well as double moves during his time at Creek, and his route tree can be expanded, most definitely. It is within the scheme. If you aren't getting an expanded route tree, we know that that's from an individual standpoint and not a system standpoint in this case. So definitely get that route tree expanded. This is something that I can see by, senior year being around the 7s, maybe even sniffing an 8. And, just for this category, which in case you're not paying attention is body control, route running, and blocking. Show more awareness to leverage. I know that you're tall for that age, but people are going to start looking the same size as you, if not bigger, if not in that same ballpark. You're going to have to play at a lower pad level for your blocking. You're going to have to run at a lower pad level to shed more tackles as far as body control and stuff goes. You're going to have to run at a lower level to get your route running up instead of running as a straight stick. And I think that's the biggest piece of advice I can give to Jadyn Irving is to run, play, operate football at a lower pad level. This is something that I stress with a bunch of football players. This isn't uncommon in younger football players, but this is what I would say should be your biggest focus this offseason is working at everything at a leveraged position and making, your routes more crisp, and that's just running them over and over again, ironing out some of those extra footsteps that you have in there. But, yeah, and I think that will help with this. I think that'll help with this, and, as well as elusiveness. He can shed tackles, but I want to see some more moves, jukes, cuts, spins, hurdles, etc. So that is it for Jadyn Irving. And, I think I'm really excited for what the future holds at Cherry Creek. And I think that you can have a pretty good season. But we're going to blank him out real quick. We're going to put his final score in the chat and see what everyone thinks. What did everyone think of the analysis of Jadyn Irving? I almost put Irvin. It's not like Michael. But, like I said, make sure follow him. J Irving 1738 on Twitter. 4.0 student, by the way. Excellent work, Jaden. And then 1738_Jaden on the gram. So, all of that being said, it is time to talk about Jaden. But a different Jaden. Jaden of the Mile High Eagles. Jaden Davis, the wide receiver. And he also listed / outside linebacker, so we'll keep an eye out for that film. But from what I could tell, he's a phenomenal athlete, and the best way to operate for him is with the ball in his hands. And so that is the film that we plan to watch. We're going with the Mile High film that he uploaded 2 months ago. We might have an ad. So in the meantime, make sure to find baller_J11 on Instagram. I don't know if he was on Twitter. So if he is, go ahead and drop his Twitter in the chat room if you would. And then while you're there, give some subs and or some bits if you wouldn't mind. But, Jaden, he is the one who reached out of the Mile High Eagles. We also have them here on our Instagram. So go ahead and give them a follow and learn more about their program. Hopefully we make it out to some more of their games, as we have had a handful of requests for some Mile High Eagles players. So, here we go. Jaden Davis. We're going to watch through this, kind of react to it a little bit first, and then I will play it a second time and kind of go through my film here. And we're going to blank this out because it's not about comparing. All right, so Jaden here. Actually, before I dive too far into this, let's check out what his huddle says. It just says position 11. He looks pretty tall. 5'11", 156 pounds. So lighter than Jadyn Irving, but still a really good height. Definitely wants to fill that out heading into high school. And that could be something at 150 pounds that may limit playing time. But at the same time, we'll see how his film holds up and see if that is a true concern. And then you know what I should have done when he messaged on Instagram was double check to see where he's going to high school. So we're going to message him and let's see. All right. Do you know where you are going to high school and can stream? Hopefully he's paying attention to his Instagram. But anyways, here we are. 160. Thank you for updating us. Oh, it looks like Jaden is joining us. So 160 pounds as opposed to the 156. So, solid, a little bit closer. Still would recommend potentially gaining weight. But let's watch the film first before making too many judgment calls here. All right. Right off the go. Adjust to this ball. I feel like this is actually supposed to be a go, but he ends up turning it into a post for his quarterback. Great adjustment to the ball. A nice celebration to go with it. All right, here he is down low here. This cornerback wants to let inside release, and he takes advantage of it and eats. Oh my gosh, nasty stiff arm. Sheds one tackle, sheds 2, 3. Oh my gosh, look at this play. Look at this play. Okay, this cornerback thinks that he has inside help, and part of it is Jaden's just field awareness. I mean, he's about to consume here. These linebackers are way too caught up in this backfield here. Nice catch with your hands, immediately looking upfield. Man, he beat this guy off the ball so bad. Once again, this could be, that middle school gap can be a bit severe sometimes, but all in all, that's a fantastic catch and a lot of tackles to dodge. All right. But anyways, continuing with the film here. Looks like this might be some defensive film for him. Oh! Those are those ball skills right there. Oh my gosh. What a play. It's plays like this where you're like, oh, maybe you'd be a pretty sweet linebacker. But as a wide receiver guy, everyone loves offense. So, all right, great play here. All right, let's get schmovin'. Oh, look at that backdrop. Only in Colorado, man. You'll love to see it. Anyways, this might be the Arvada Regulators, if I had to guess. A little hard to tell. But here he is at that outside linebacker kind of edge position again. And just rips the ball out. Man, I might have to pull out the outside linebacker / edge film sheet. But we'll wait and see. We'll wait and see. Pick. You got to throw those screens faster. That's, I mean, very opportunistic and good reading of the defense, but high school quarterbacks should not make that mistake. Swallowed up. Okay, here we are back on offense. Great release. Oh my gosh, lost that guy somehow. And, you know, that's a corner route. That's something that's a little bit more rare on this level of football, so that bodes pretty well. Let's see where he starts this play. Okay, so he's still on the outside. Works through this release here. Works through this press, I should say. Doesn't really slow him down at all. You'll love to see that. Then catches it in stride. Nice stiff arm. Takes it to the house. Good play. You should not be getting tackled by this guy. So, you know, don't expect an 8 for evading that tackle. And then this is a little bit of, I guess, like a field awareness kind of thing. I understand that, you know, this play's supposed to go on, but you turn your head and you can see this big old defender in your quarterback's face. So just sit. Make this throw a little bit easier for a QB, because that's essentially what ends up happening. But you have to make a little bit more of an effort catch, and he has to make a little bit more of an effort throw. But that's something that can be solved with just more chemistry. Oh, man, quarterback. Help out your receiver too sometimes, though. That is a tough play. That's a miracle that he got in bounds. But got the first, so. And that's such a short out route. Way to just be aware and get exactly what you need. Oh, you love to see it. Let's see, do I have the fire emoji again? Yeah. Okay. So here we are, down at the bottom of your screen again. We got a screen this time. Really has to come back to this ball. And then, let's see. Yeah, that's where this lane is. It's always something worth watching for younger players to see if they just go to the outside. But you could tell that he was looking for that inside and then read to go outside. So excellent awareness and vision there. 21, what are you doing? Play's already over. Lots of play action boots in this mile high. Oh my, what? That's got to be an adjustment to the ball. That's incredible. And then back inside, easy touchdown. Man, if that was made for number 2, I feel a little bad, but that's all right. Muff snap, easy sack. Yep. All right, here we are back on offense. I believe this is him at the top of the screen here. A little bit of a false step. But speed prevails. Makes good play. I know you're in a weird position, but don't get brought down by that guy. Come on. Nice evasive maneuver. Oh! Oh my god. Are you kidding me? This is like triple coverage. First off, Mile High quarterback, you're lucky I'm not breaking down your film because I would have given you a lot of grief for this throw. I still kind of am. But, I mean, okay, it's easily double coverage, but I mean this play that he makes on the ball. Man, if this was high res, oh my gosh. That's not a poster. He's putting those guys on t-shirts. Oh my lord. What a play. What a spectacular play. That is not an interception, dude. He so clearly has the ball. All right, I believe this is him at the top of our screen with the quick release. Gets outside. Gets a little ahead of the ball. Up the field. Oh my gosh. The burners, is it enough? Yes, it is. I love to see those plays where he does have to run a huge length. It does bode well for his speed category. Jaden, if you're tuned in, do you have a 40-yard dash time? Unofficial, official 40-yard dash time? If you do, I wouldn't mind you putting it in the chat. But if you don't, no worries. All right, this is scrimmage, it looks like. Maybe the last play. Okay, that doesn't get off in time. But let's go ahead and let this play through again as I work on some of his categories here. Okay, we got some defensive film here. So we're going to let that kind of play through as I hash some of these things out. And by the way, as told to me by Jaden Davis himself, he will be heading to Denver South High School for his high school career. And, this is a school that has seen an uptick in prolific passers as well as pass catchers these past few years. Julian Burke, obviously, being a CSU Pueblo commit kind of guy, so being a next-level guy. And then, this year, class of 23, Joseph Capra, as well as Caldwell, being both very notable on the offensive side of the ball. So, just a couple of names to keep in mind. This is where this takes a little bit of a... That's at A6, yep. Yep, should be that. Okay. Go to screen. We're gonna take this down. Because you get a sweet little dip like that out of Elusiveness. But then you also get sometimes where he does get taken down by too few guys for the age group that he's in my opinion. So we're going to take that down to like that. Do that. I do think that is still spectacular. Sashing out a few more, like right here. I understand that he has to make an adjustment on the ball, but don't let that guy tackle you. You got like insane size on him, but then you have plays like this. Oh my lord. I just lowered it just to re-put it back up. And then seeing the burners. I'm going to put that there. Because we're not sure how it holds up against high school talent yet. Nice route. Oh. Called him out. Okay. So. Actually, I got to make this a new tab. Okay. Now we'll be good to go. Drum roll, please. We got the rubric for Jaden Davis here. And Jaden Davis only, because it's not about comparing. But here we are. We can jump into it. First off, if you haven't already, make sure to go ahead and find him on Instagram, baller_J11, and give him a follow. Check out what he's been working on. He's also a basketball athlete. Oh, man, I wish this was bigger. Oh, but hey, Most. Oh, man. But, yeah. A couple of different looks just throughout the years. So, and then go ahead and give the Mile High Eagles a follow. His, I guess he's an alumni from there. Is that how that works? But, anywho. Whoa, do whatever I just did. Yep. Anywho, let's go ahead and check out Jaden's film and compare it to the stats that I have. Maybe make some minor adjustments or tweaks, and then give him some things to work on this offseason before heading into high school at South. So, route running. I think that he's a really solid route runner. I think that he could add some more things to his bag as far as like double moves, head shakes, dipping hips, anything like that. But then you look at this in route that is the very next play here. Whenever they're done celebrating, this is spectacular route running. It's a very good release off the ball. It's a very good spot in the field to find yourself open. He runs a pretty straight line when he does make his cut inside. Those are all very, very mature aspects of route running. I think that he's a very solid route runner. Nearly above average. But just want to see a little bit more. Just a little bit more route running wise and trick wise and stuff like that. So, hand/ball skills. I'm actually going to bump this up a little bit here. I think that his hand/ball skills are pretty spectacular. He makes a variety of catches in a variety of ways. I'm even going to do that. He makes a variety of catches in a variety of ways. I'm going to do that just because of who's contesting those passes. But, I mean, you know, he can tip it up to himself on defense. He can catch it with his hands up high. He can catch it low. He can catch it over somebody. He can catch it in stride. All of those very well. I think that he has very, very solid hands that, you know, aren't necessarily my concern on the next level, but I do want to see him maintain possession of the ball through maybe some monster hits that he may experience in the next level. That is also something that is a part of hands/ball skills, is holding on through contact. Separation/release. I think that he has really good release. I don't always think that he necessarily gets the best separation. I think that you can tell kind of from a playbook standpoint, it's like, all right, when you're running a corner, You're going 10 yards and taking a 45-degree angle. And sometimes, as you evolve as a receiver, there's some give to that. You have to find where the open spots are on the field. And so I think that's one place where separation can grow a little bit, is just understanding the field and understanding the defenses a little better, because he does catch some things in fairly contested areas. But at the same time, he has a spectacular release that I do think is ready for the high school level. Speed, I have it rated at a 7. He doesn't lose really any foot races. Usually he's slowed down by throws. However, I did not want to overgive the speed category based on the level. No, I'm gonna put it there. He's quick. He's very fast. And it's not just the strides. It's everything that he does in between and after. Just being able to pick up the speed and pick up those 10 yards on what potentially could have been a broken play, that's a good sign of speed. Elusiveness / agility, I have this rated at a 6.8. He has a little bit of a bag, I will say. He has some cuts, he has some jukes, and stuff like that. No crazy spins, no massive jump cuts at this point, but he can shed tackles. He has a really good stiff arm. I think that everything is obviously above average for his age, and I think that it's where it should be potentially for, heading into high school. But as he continues to play, he will develop a deeper bag. Then we have a couple of 7.3s here in a row. I'm actually going to jump this down to a 7.2. I think that they run a pretty extensive route tree. We're actually going to go 7. I think that he's asked to run a lot of routes, and then you do see, those whip routes and stuff like that, which is a big task. And especially from the outside wide receiver position, being able to run those, on like the short side of the field is something that he does do. And so I think that's why his route tree is solid. But, maybe missing some more of those double moves or those chair routes, those in and ups, those out and ups, and anything that's involved way more from the slot position. He does get to address a handful of those just by that bunch formation. But all in all, a pretty solid route tree. Verticality / jump ball. I'm just going to go back to this play. Need I say more? Need I say more? Look at this play. Look at this in double coverage. He just rips the ball away. This is an underthrown pass. This is one of the worst decisions I've seen in a minute. And he makes it not a bad decision because the quarterback understands it's Jaden Davis. He's got this. And he ends up clutching this. He makes a handful of really athletic, high point catches on his film. I definitely think that his verticality / jump ball is his biggest asset heading into freshman year, and is something that is going to get him snaps on some level of football, whether that's freshman team, JV team, or potentially varsity, depending on the night and how some other things shake out. So, body control. This is also a little bit part of body control, but then you look at this one play that he has by the sideline. Where is it on this film? Here it is, right here. You have this play. This is excellent body control. He has to make a massive adjustment to this ball while also still remaining in bounds. Excellent catch here. Excellent catch. Just managed to stay completely in bounds. Great adjustment to the ball. Excellent body control. He's able to shed tackles with said body control. He's able to, make a variety of plays. Through his body control. Being able to make this adjustment and these cuts, that is all body control stuff. And, it's worth bumping this up to, oh my goodness, a 6.9. Field awareness / vision. I think that he has pretty solid field awareness / vision, so I'm going to bump it up even a little bit more. But there are times where it's like, hey, maybe sit in that spot a little bit more. Hey, maybe do this, maybe do that. But still above average, so I'll put it at a 6.6. And then blocking, this is mainly based off of his body control. He is a little bit on the lighter side if you look at, going to the varsity level. But I think with his body control that he shows average upside on the blocking department despite not having a ton of film of it. But those are my thoughts on Jaden Davis. Hopefully, I didn't make too many of you mad, seeing as how we only have one viewer now. I know that I had some pretty high, lofty appraise, but I think that 65.5 is a splendid score for an 8th grader heading into high school. I think that this is worth a look at the varsity level. At South, I know that they have that Capra Caldwell connection, CCC. But, Jaden Davis, he shows me enough to let him compete for a varsity spot already as an 8th grader. In these summer workouts, obviously, bring your cleats, bring that mentality, and bring that will to make plays. Bring that will to make these catches in double teams against varsity talent, against, the starting cornerback or safety on varsity. And if you're able to make those plays in practice against their varsity team, you will be seeing snaps, and you will be at least a 2-star recruit by the end of your freshman year, which is insane. Or at least by our scale, you will be a 2-star recruit. Because I think that as long as you do all of these things, even to maybe a lesser level on the varsity level, it still bodes very, very well for you because competition is not really in the question. So that's how you get this speed from a 7.3 to like a 7.8, is being able to do that against a variety of competition. Let's see that one more time. So, I think that all these are very solid stats. I think that this gives you, I think that there's a lot of hope for Jaden Davis to potentially see some varsity snaps this year and or win a job. And, that is a goal that I'm going to give Jaden Davis. Obviously, work on making some routes a little bit more crisp. Work on finding pockets in the defense a little bit better in this separation/release and this field awareness categories. But other than that, just continue to develop the way that you're already doing. And, maybe get some blocking film to me. And I think that you are sitting in a very, very good spot heading into your first year at Denver South. And, if you guys think that he's sitting in a good spot, go ahead and put it in the chat as well. And make sure to follow our guy here, baller_J11 on Instagram. And make sure to follow the Mile High Eagles. And with all of that being said, we are approaching the end of this Twitch stream, and I do have to start plugging Playmakers Corner. Go ahead and find us on Instagram and give us a follow. Holy cow, 100 likes. That's splendid. 57 on here. Anyways, go ahead and follow us on Playmakers Corner. If you want to find us on other things, and you go to our social medias, go ahead and click on this link tree here where we have our Twitter, where we have our Instagram, where we have our TikTok, where we have our YouTube, where all of the Twitch streams end up is on our YouTube, as well as anywhere you listen to podcasts, whether that's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Anchor. Go ahead and check all these out. Find which one you like the most, which interface floats your boat the best. And go ahead and tune in to us every week as we post more and more. We had another Twitch stream, episode 172, and this Twitch stream is going to end up on, podcast services as well. So go ahead and give that a listen. If you'd rather see the video, go ahead and go to our YouTube where it has my live reactions and live film breakdown and reasonings for it with some visuals in place to go with it, right? So go ahead and check all of those out. And then, if you want your film broken down, obviously in our link tree, we have a film breakdown request form. Go ahead and fill that out. But on top of that, there's also this June 7v7 registration through Under Armour and Evolution Player Optimization for this 7v7 tournament where you can win money for your school. You just have to fundraise. There's details on where the games are, how much it costs to get your team in there. And I think that it's good to just have an idea of where you're sitting. Absolutely. No days off. This guy gets it. And thank you for saying thank you as well. It always feels good to be appreciated and listened to. So hopefully that helps him win a starting job heading into the fall. But sorry, I was responding to Jamal_Davis77. Thank you for interacting with us throughout this stream. And thank you, Jayden, JD23, for interacting with us on the stream as well, buddy. But, if you're looking to see where your varsity squad is at, sign up for this 7v7 tournament. fill out the forms, do what you got to do, come out and compete. Playmakers Corner, we will be there evaluating talent and taking notes for our season previews that are going to start rolling out. Football season is really just around the corner. So if you're sitting on your butt, get to it. And if you want more advice on your game, go ahead and reach out to us through those request forms and through our social medias. And just listen to our episodes about what we talk to other players about improving their game on, because there's tips, drills, ideas, and a whole bunch of stuff for everyone to kind of take away from each episode. So thank you so much for rocking with us. I've been your host for this Twitch stream, Cody Stauffer, breaking down the young class of 2026 talents in Jadyn Irving and Jaden Davis, and I am signing off.